We are Watercycle Technologies. We're a sustainability-driven company developing membrane-based water treatment and mineral extraction systems. We're a spin-out from the University of Manchester, looking to make a big impact in the UK's emerging lithium supply chain. Our systems offer a better solution for water treatment and mineral extraction than current technologies. They allow critical minerals, like lithium, to be produced more quickly, at a lower cost, and in a more environmentally friendly way. Lithium is an essential mineral within batteries for electric vehicles, the market for which is expected to grow to $1.9 trillion by 2028. The IEA suggests that demand for lithium in 2040 could be as much as 53 times that of 2020. This transition to electric vehicles is critical for reducing global carbon emissions. But it can only happen if there is a low carbon supply chain behind it. This not only includes the primary production of lithium, but also the recycling of end-of-life batteries. Our technology can address both of these aspects, which is in line with our wider ambition to help build a circular economy. So how our technology works is first we take a solution that contains lithium. This could be groundwater, it could be wastewater, or even seawater. We then flow this through our system that contains specialized materials that directly capture the lithium from the solution, leaving the other components behind. By then adjusting the process conditions, we can release the lithium, producing a lithium-rich solution, which we then concentrate and crystallize into high-value salts that are ready for battery production. This process produces lithium in minutes to hours, rather than in months to years that current processes can take.
We believe the company is very well positioned to develop applications and services for the water, industrial and extractive mining sectors. In particular, the company's focus on lithium is compelling, given the increased demand for lithium globally from, in particular, electric vehicles and battery storage applications. This landscape has led to an increased investment appetite from ESG-focused institutional investors, as well as the major metal commodity traders, and as well as the mining companies themselves, who want to invest into emerging technologies in this area. We are delighted that Watercycle Technology is very well positioned and look forward to scaling up the business in the future and making the most of the growth opportunities ahead.
While we're focused on deploying our technology into the lithium market, there is significant potential to achieve low carbon production of minerals critical to a wide range of markets. We're dedicated to helping our industrial partners achieve their sustainability goals and overcome the challenges that we're all facing as we work towards a net zero future.
VREvo is a virtual reality software company specializing in medical education. We produce immersive simulations covering many clinical scenarios and situations used by medical schools and healthcare training organizations to deliver psychologically authentic user experiences. There's a well-documented global shortage of doctors and healthcare professionals. As governments and educational institutions try to close this gap by training and certifying more people, their already stretched resources are coming under increasing strain. Traditional simulation training methods only cater for small cohorts of students at any one time. This means that they are time-consuming and expensive to deliver. Students get limited access to the learning and in many cases only practice once before their allocated time is up. This leads to a poor student experience and also a lack of insight for educators into student learning retention and performance. In many cases, students will get a lack of exposure to situations before they face them in the workplace. We're solving this problem by providing students and institutions with 24/7 access to repeated learning through immersive and interactive experiences. Our use of AI virtual patients enables users to have natural conversations with patients as they would in real life.
Do you drink a lot?
I don't drink every night, if that's what you mean.
Can you show me where the pain is?
Here is the worst part, but it's all over.
People are familiar with the concept of airline pilots undertaking flight simulator training to prepare for situations they'll face in real life. And we're bringing this methodology to medical education. We can simulate stressful and time-critical scenarios, giving students the opportunity to practice these in a safe environment, whilst at the same time providing detailed performance analytics and feedback to both the students and teaching staff. We're now generating revenue with our first commercial subscription licenses, and the next step for VREvo is to build out our library of content and accelerate our go-to-market plans. We'll use the funds that we raised from our seed round to invest in a development team and to support connections into our target markets so we can build on our early successes. Specifically, we'll be building out our multi-user environments and cementing our partnerships with distribution platforms. This will enable us to reach our global market of millions of medical and healthcare students. Ultimately, we believe VREvo will be embedded into the teaching practices of institutions and healthcare training providers across the world, enabling the scalable delivery of remote learning and simulation training. Our aim is to provide better trained healthcare professionals, thereby reducing the risk of diagnostic errors, which in turn will lead to better patient outcomes. By providing the healthcare professionals of tomorrow with scalable, authentic learning experiences, we enable them to be better prepared for situations that they'll encounter when they're in the workplace.
Hello, my name is Dr. Margherita Sepioni. I am the CEO and the co-founder of SmartIR Limited. SmartIR is a new spin-out from the University of Manchester, and our company develops a disruptive graphene-based technology for thermal management application in the space and defense. We have invented these graphene thermal adaptive tiles that will disrupt thermal and optical management in space and defense applications. These thin tiles are built with multi-layer graphene, and by applying a small gate voltage, we can change dramatically the optical and the thermal properties of the surface that we coated by the tile. We can do that in a wide range of electromagnetic signatures, from microwave to visible, including infrared radiation. And by turning on and off the device, we can ensure a dynamic approach. We can also integrate physically and electronically tiles together to cover a larger surface. Due to the absence of air in space, satellites exchange the heat through infrared emission and absorption. Satellites orbiting several times around the Earth experience extreme temperature gradients, and the electronic components of the satellites need to be protected by cooling and heating thermal management systems. So the satellite's manufacturer needs a technology which is capable to mediate infrared radiation and overcome these challenges. Key requirements for this thermal management are low power consumption and lightweight to reduce the operational and the manufacturing costs. SmartIR can meet these requirements by offering a thermal radiator which is competitive thanks to the dynamic approach, lightweight and low power consumption. Therefore, SmartIR thermal systems can bring a huge number of benefits in the rapidly growing space sectors and add value to the manufacturing space industry. While transforming the satellite's manufacturing industry, SmartIR devices have application on those sectors where the control of radiation is essential. How about Harry Potter's invisibility cloak or James Bond's disappearing car? We can assemble our tiles to form clocking devices. This is not anymore science fiction, but become real-life application thanks to our disruptive technology. We can therefore offer defense, a cloaking mechanism to protect high-value assets, and we can integrate our devices into textiles and literally make human bodies disappear to protect them from attack. We have established our initial prototyping and manufacturing activities here at the Graphene Engineering Innovation Centre, also known as GEEK, in Manchester, the home of graphene. By accessing this amazing equipment, which is called chemical vapor deposition, we can grow graphene on top of a metal and then transfer it on our SmartIR tiles. and we can interact with the graphene specialists to optimize the graphene requirement to meet our needs. At the Geek, we can have a batch-to-batch process, but we can also access roll-to-roll facilities to scale up the volume manufacture.
So this is our 3D printed prototype that is a CubeSat coated with our graphene technology SmartIR tiles. By applying a small voltage to this device, we will be actually able to modulate the infrared emission of the satellites. And this is extremely important into space to control the actual temperature of the device. So let me do a quick demo for you. By using an infrared camera, we will be able to see this infrared emission. And if we look carefully, we will be seeing the actual temperature of the device changing from hot to cold.
This is the cycling test that we use to characterize our devices. We use this test to measure how long our devices will last in space. Hopefully we should go through 10,000 cycles, which is more than enough for any space mission. You see, as we apply a voltage to the device, we start to intercalate into the graphene layers, and this changes and modulates the emissivity. We can use this technology to provide radiative functions to satellites, possibly even spacesuits or more.
In the medium term, we are planning to become subsystem suppliers to the space and defense industry. SmartIR is looking to establish commercial and technical development partnership with companies operating in both sectors. In the coming years, we will grow our manufacturing capabilities, and we want to transform our technology into a product which is fully accessible and viable for space and defense. We are very excited about SmartIR and the future growth opportunity.
Apeny is a University of Manchester spin-out company founded in 2021. We are a preclinical stage biotech company that are developing new therapeutics for the treatment of inflammatory disease. Apeny's therapeutic technology focuses on specifically targeting a pro-inflammatory protein called eNAMT. Apeny started as a collaboration between my group at the University of Manchester and Paul Caton at King's College London, who is an expert in eNAMT biology. Over the last 10 years, there's been an increasing understanding of the critical role that NAMT plays in driving inflammation. This has shown us that targeting eNAMT can be a powerful approach to treating inflammatory diseases. One of the really exciting things about targeting eNAMT is that it shouldn't lead to the immunosuppressive effects seen with conventional anti-inflammatory drugs, which can lead to increased risk of infection and cancer. Apeny has designed compounds that specifically target the extracellular effects of NAMT without impacting on the physiological function of the intracellular protein. When we found that our molecules could block the pro-inflammatory effects of NAMT, we put a lot of effort into really understanding how they interacted with the protein. Through this research, we discovered that their ability to block pro-inflammatory effects of eNAMT is more than 500 times greater than their activity as enzyme inhibitors. We've been able to modify the structure of the compounds so that they can be orally administered in animal models and therefore potentially one day in humans. We have looked at a range of inflammatory diseases so that the business can focus on areas where there is the greatest unmet clinical need, the strongest evidence of a critical role for eNAMT, and a clear development path to proof of concept and ultimately commercialization and improved clinical outcomes. Following this review, we have selected inflammatory bowel disease as our lead indication. Inflammatory bowel disease currently affects 3.5 million patients in the US and Europe, resulting in a $20 billion annual market. While there has been significant progress in the treatment of this disease, approximately 50% of patients do not achieve sustained benefit from current therapies, and several groups have shown that high NAMT levels are predictive of poor response to these agents. Taken together with the promising preclinical data using eNAMT antibodies and our molecules, we believe that Apeny's eNAMT modulators can expect to exceed annual sales of $4 billion, with the potential to increase the revenue stream due to their programmable routes of administration and excellent tolerability. There is both preclinical and clinical evidence for a role of eNAMT in a range of inflammatory diseases. We are currently investigating the activity of our compounds in preclinical models of pulmonary arterial hypertension. This is an especially interesting indication as patients with an activating form of the NAMT gene experience worse symptoms, and there are currently no broadly effective disease-modifying therapies. Despite being a relatively rare disease, the current annual market for pulmonary arterial hypertension drugs is more than $5 billion, and there is a relatively fast development path supported by a strong UK clinical network. Apeny has a strong pipeline of molecules that selectively target eNAMT-driven inflammation. The eNAMT platform provides new approaches to target commercially valuable indications and address the shortcomings of current medications. We believe we have a strong IP position and a clear pathway to develop this as the business scales. Apeny's well-tolerated drug candidates and programmable routes of administration differentiate our approach from preclinical monoclonal antibodies and small molecule NAMT inhibitors.